Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2.0 Cow Daily. If you are here for the first one, we were talking about, how shall I put it? Somebody mixing their sperm with their father's to create a child in their lass. Go back to that. It's all for you. Unfortunately, it's stacked in the middle of that, but we've got the main part of it, so we can edit that. So I think what I'll do is, right, audio people, we're going to put this out as two-parters, so you'll be getting it over the next couple of days. You'll get part one today because we can't leave the spunky monkey hanging, can we? No, we bloody well can't. So that's what we'll be doing. It's sad, but that's how it is. And I've switched to the other network, so I'm hoping this is going to work. All my lights are off. Everything crashed, but we're back. And in this episode, 2.0, we're going to talk about the Greens, the Green Party. What we're going to talk about is what I personally think is their correct strategy and what that strategy should be. So if you'll just humor us, but before we get there, and I tell you as about it, Peter the A to the T, RUN.com. Don't forget, this is the second episode, patreon.com/Cow Daily. Please go there if you want to support our work. Also, link in description for PayPal if you want to make a one-off contribution to our work. Also, if you can leave an early like, comment, review, wherever you are consuming this podcast, be it audio or visual. Cheers, chaps. See you in a bit. Green Party. Right. I've took a few different tweets from Stats for Lefties. That's at Lefty Stats on Twitter. Follow them. Class. They do the right things. So what Stats for Lefties done is quote tweeted Labour's gain at the by-election in Kingswood this week. What they're saying is this is only the fifth time that the Greens have saved their deposit in a by-election. The others were Summerton and Frome, Norwich North, Halton Price and Howden, Selby and Ainsty. So part of the strategy, because the Greens have said that they're going to stand candidates in every constituency, in my view, people should be getting behind them at the minimum so the party doesn't lose the money for the deposit. And I think it's something like £5,000 for each seat. So not an insubstantial amount of money if you times it by, I think, 650 something or whatever it is. So actually, no, it would be England and Wales, wouldn't it? So remove the other seats from Scotland and Northern Ireland, and there you shall find the number. So why and how can we do this, and what other things is happening regarding the Greens? Let's look. So Stats for Lefties also. Projection should suggest scrap bags. Labour collapse in Bradford West, where 59% are Muslim. So Labour would still win that seat, but they've had a collapse of 29% in this poll. Greens have taken most of that on at 21%. Reform Party took 5%, Lib Dems took 4%. Can the Greens win there? I think, and I've said this for a while, I think because Labour are taking well, I wouldn't even call it a strategy, basically just offering nothing, doing nothing, reneging on pledges and being the party of genocide, also 2.0, it's obviously going to have an impact across the country. I think there's going to be some real anomalies that, those type of people who are like, oh no, nobody can ever break the duopoly of Labour and Tories, might as well not bother. And then the toxicity of what that does. Also here from Stats for Lefties, projection for Sheffield Central, 46, Greens 40. That's plus 29%. So Labour's went down 28, Tories down 8%, Lib Dems up 1 in that projection for Sheffield Central. Massive opportunity there, as you can see. That's only 6%. There's not just like the odd seat. The Greens can win a lot of seats if people actually get behind and get out canvassing. I mean, I don't even know if you need to join the party just to volunteer. I'm sure people in the party could confirm. But as far as I'm concerned, right, on the left, the Greens are the only electoral vehicle in town. Forget about the rest. Like, at the end of the day, we need to be definitely in 2024 with all the competing crises, just realizing this and just getting behind the only gig in town, who quite, as you can see, well, not if you're listening, but on the screen, projections are looking good as far as I'm concerned. Sheffield and Bradford there. Anyway, moving on. Breaking MRP shows Greens would gain Bristol Central with a 23% swing. So Greens would take 52% of the vote in Bristol Central. That's up 26%, taking 19 off Labour. So it would be like, again, taxi for thank Cabinet Debonair, who is an utter ghoul. So that can be winnable. So what we got here, this was from a wider poll also published by Stats for Lefties. Labour lead plunges to 12 points. This is overall, by the way. So that's -7. Labour 41%, etc., etc. So what Stats for Lefties said here, in case you're wondering at what point we move into a hung parliament territory, it's a Labour lead of around -7. They're currently on -12 in the polls. You see where I'm going with this, eh? Like, people would want you to think there's no hope. Some of the people we're talking about here, the Labour and Tories, want you to think there's no hope beyond them because they offer nothing. And people need a lot. They need hope. And the Greens offer that. They've been consistent on Israel Palestine. They've been consistent on all things. And look, at the end of the day, right, if you're watching or listening to the show early in the week, you'll see what's happening with AMOC in the North Atlantic. Basically, when the currents go, Raj, in the day after tomorrow, that could be from anywhere as close as 2025, just next year. We cannot continue to mess about, like, and there is hope to be had. And that's what we should be getting across. And also that can enthuse us to take momentum. Because I think this strategy, it's not necessarily about this particular election or set of elections per se. It's about building from a solid base and also distinguishing that particular vehicle, in this case, the Greens. It used to be Corbyn's Labour. Aside from the absolute nightmare that is the main parties. What would be the outcome? Well, if a hung parliament is forced and say there's 4, 5 Green MPs, maybe even 3, that can act as kingmaker, you see how like Reform and all them Farage vehicles worked. A lot of it's about holding the balance of power. So that's what I think needs to happen here. The Greens need to be that balance of power. And yes, they're not perfect, but neither is the world, and they're far better than the world. So, hey, we're on our way. As you can see on the screen, this is Darren Cullen, Spelling Mistakes Cost Lives. He's been putting these out. You can print them off his website. Vote for genocide, vote Labour. There's a huge, huge upswing in basically seeking revenge on Labour. And I think that's valid. And they should expect it. And they should expect it like a big wave. And take it from me, a hell of a lot of people have joined the Green Party in that effort. And I don't even think it's necessary to join. Just, when it comes to election time, speak up, tell people what the score is and vote. A lot of people are practicing emotional avoidance and calling it a positive mindset. Holding a positive mindset and not actually doing things is like part of the puzzle. Positive mindset's good as long as it's not delusional. So let's not be delusional. We see the figures there on the screen. We see the opportunities here, and we also see the people who want to stand on our brains and have us think that there is no hope. That would be a lie, as we can see. And if as many of us as possible get up and get behind this, then it raises this up. This is the time to do it, man. We'll have competing crises, and at the end of the day, right, I'm not just going to sit off and just do nothing and wait for the waves to take us. And if that happens, I'll fucking surf them straight into the lake of fire. Anyway, who's in the comments? Who's a boot? Who's a boot? Who's a boot? Right, who we got? Andy Taylor, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Joanne. Nice to see you, Jacqueline. Nice to see you, Carlos, Jez. All the peoples are a boot. Right, where we got someone on Twitter said they'd been a socialist for 84 years and he's never seen anyone worse than Starmer. That's right, Jacqueline. And I've noticed those type of things too. It's not just young people who are turning off. It is everybody with a conscience and a bit of ethics. And I hope that gets channeled into a green vote by people. Right. That has been the second mini show, because obviously the internet stacked earlier. So I'll do my best to get both out for you and edit them, which will be a slight ball ache, but it's not a massive problem. If you want to support work, go to patreon.com/cowdaily. Links in description for PayPal if you want to make a one-off contribution to our work. Bit of a gutter because I plan to do a bit of a hangout and all that on a longer one. But we've got to recognise the internet wasn't doing well today and we've got workmen in the street, so it may well be connected. So always a pleasure, never a chore. Enjoy your weekend. Take pleasure in your free time because the world's hard enough without taking a bit of time for you. Much love. Take care. All the best. See you later, Grottos.